Okay. All right. Good, good evening, everyone. And I will be your table topics master for the evening. And I know our theme for today is the month of June. So I have about 6 questions that I've already gotten together to talk about the month of June. So I will start by asking a question and I will let anyone that would like to answer. So the first question is something very powerful happened to me in the month of June. Which month is significant for you and why? And just speak up if I don't, I'm not, my camera's not showing. Okay, there we are. Okay, the question is something very powerful happened to me in the month of June. Which month is significant for you and why? Anybody? I'm gonna call on somebody. Which month is significant for you? It could be any month for any reason. It could be the month that you were born. Which month is significant for you and why? Caleb, thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Fellow Toastmasters, my question was, what month is significant for me and why? And I would say that a month that is most significant for me is February, because a little over 2 years ago now was when I had picked up my life from uh, the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston, South Carolina, and decided to follow my boss from South Carolina, which is where my family was and all of my friends, and to move everything further down south to Mobile, Alabama, to continue my PhD project. And I didn't have to move. It wasn't something that was forced upon me. I believe my boss was pretty nervous when he brought it up to me because I was a second going on third year PhD student, and I had a good project, but it was still early enough where I could have jumped ship to another lab if I really wanted to. But I I like my boss, still like my boss, even though he dragged me to Alabama. And I really liked my project. And it's been it was a significant change for me. There's a quote I remember hearing that people who have agency in this world, people who understand their position and understand what they want and need out of the world, will be able to recognize if they're in the wrong place. And if they're in the wrong place, they'll move. And you see this with people who travel or who will pick up their life from one city and go to the next, or who will pick up their life from a country and move to another country if they don't think it's the right place for them. And I try to keep that in mind, that at the end of the day, everything that binds us to where we are is ourselves. And we can, if we think we're in the wrong place, or if we think we can do something better somewhere else, it's up to us to move. And that is my answer. Thank you, Olivia.
Very good. And that is very significant. Wow. Whew, I tell you, I always commend anyone. I always stand in awe when I see someone make a life change that works out, or even if it doesn't work out, just taking the risk. I met a guy that worked in my department some years ago, and he hopped trains. Not saying that was something that is commendable, but he just left home. He was like 17 or 18. He said his parents used to be worried sick about him, and he would hop from train to train. He's been all over the US train hopping. So I said, "Well, how did you make money? Where did you bathe? What about clothes?" And he made money playing the spoons. And he is dynamic at it, playing the spoons. So if you don't know anybody that plays spoons, just Google it. I'm sure you'll find someone on YouTube. But he made a living for himself playing the spoons. But he did that for like 3 or 4 years. I mean, 17-year-old kid just said, "I'm gonna hop a train and go see all of the US." Amazing. I wouldn't have first I wouldn't have hopped the train, period. But I wouldn't want to go up the street talking about all over the world, all over the US. So that's pretty significant. Bravo, Caleb, for making that decision. I have two birthdays. June 17th is my second date. January 30th is my first, and June 17th is my second. I know three people that are born on that date. And on June 17th, 2017, I was reborn. So I'm almost 6 years in, and I've taken a journey that I've started a journey that I've never turned back from, and I just have not been the same person since. So that's my significant thing for the month of June. The next question is, June is the beginning of hurricane season. Tell me, do you normally run or do you stay when there's a hurricane coming our way? Wes, go ahead.
Oh no, just I went to the door. Um,
Oh, Maurice?
Uh, yes. The question that that has been posed to me, fellow Toastmasters, is since June is the first month of hurricane season, she posed a question: when a
Are
hurricane
you one? Mm-hmm. Go
comes
ahead.
toward this way, do I do I do I usually stay or do I usually evacuate?
Right.
My answer is, even though I do remember evacuating once, but generally, especially for the last few hurricanes, I stayed. And there are two significant, well, more significant hurricanes, not as significant as Katrina or anything, or Camille or anything like that, but two significant hurricanes that hit this area in Mobile and actually affected the trees behind my house were Hurricane Sally in 2020 and Hurricane Zeta in 2020. So September 2020 was Hurricane Sally, which knocked some of my trees toward my backyard, and then Hurricane Zeta knocked them the opposite way into the drainage ditch. So after that, I spent the next 15 months chopping up trees and hauling them off. After Hurricane Sally, there was one big tree that fell well, it wasn't totally uprooted, but it fell between my yard and my neighbor's yard. So we had a professional chop that up. But after Hurricane Zeta, where most of the trees, more than 20 cedar trees and some mimosa trees, fell the opposite direction into the drainage ditch behind my house, that's when I spent the next 15 months from September 2020 till December of 2021 cutting them up and hauling them off. And it was daunting to me because I really didn't know what I was going to do. I did call the county saying, what part is the right of way and what part is I'm responsible for, but they never called me back. So what I did, I said, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to be done. So I spent 15 months cutting all those trees, and I also pulled the stumps too. I didn't hire a stump grinder or anything because I know that costs money too. So I chopped up the stumps, cut them, and pulled them out. So that's my month of June for hurricanes. I mean, that's what happened to be during hurricane season. in 2020. And I know the question was concerning the month of June and the beginning of hurricane season, but that's my hurricane story. And I stay for both of those. Back to you, Madam Topics Master.
Okay, thank you very much, Maurice. That was a very good response, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. Working for the American Red Cross, I tell you, I see quite a bit of aftermath, and I've always been one of those that wants to escape. But the thing is, and Ivan and Katrina made it both so well known that you really don't know which way to go. Katrina did so much effects in Georgia, whereas where a lot of people went 65 straight north, and a lot of people went over to Atlanta and the Georgia area, and they had lights. Their lights were out longer than ours were here on the Gulf Coast. So that was just one of those weird things. So I don't know. Sometimes you don't know if you should go west or north. Definitely don't want to go east. That's for sure. All right. Thank you very much, Maurice. The next question is.
Okay, before you get to the next question, I got a point on Hurricane Katrina. I used to live in Slidell during the early to mid 90s, and
Oh wow, that's from
I met
Louisiana.
quite
Okay.
a few people that lived in Slidell and New Orleans. But after Hurricane Katrina, which I had left the area before Hurricane Katrina, but a lot of people quite a few people that I knew that lived in the New Orleans area, they packed up, and some moved to Birmingham, some moved to Huntsville.
Texas, everywhere.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
Yes, yeah, those they went. Oh man, I still have family that never returned to New Orleans, and they said they have no desire to. They were not upset with the city or the state or the natural disaster. They were more upset with the government officials and the response from FEMA and the federal level. So they were like, "No way will I allow my life to be put in that type of danger again." So I have to understand and respect that.
Wow.
I was just in New Orleans recently, and it's. I tell you, you can still, for those of us who knew what it looked like before, I can still see so many things that are different till it's almost depressing. Okay, let's keep moving. Mid-year, June is almost pretty much almost the middle of the year. And my question is, my favorite month is next, well, one of my favorite months is next month because it's Christmas in July. Does anyone else celebrate Christmas in July? At least a little bit, even if it's just watching a Christmas movie? Does anybody else celebrate Christmas in July? Wes?
Ma'am Topics Master, I most assuredly celebrate Christmas in July. No, I don't put up a tree. I don't put up outside lights and that sort of thing. However, I do have a light. I have a green porch light that's on continuously all year round. But in the month of December and November, it also it serves as a Christmas light as well. So that's on all year round. But I do listen. I have Sirius XM, and for a week in July, they have Christmas in July programming, and I listen to Christmas in July programming. I also I may be inclined to also during that week put on a favorite Christmas movie, Christmas DVD that I like. There are several that I really enjoy. But I think Christmas it was always a special time for me when I was growing up. So yes, I celebrate Christmas in July for at least a week during July, regardless of how warm it is or where I am. I could be on a beach. I could be by the lake. Could be in the 90s. That's irrelevant. I enjoy Christmas, and I do celebrate Christmas in July. Ma'am Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Wes. And yes, I do enjoy Christmas in July. My kids are grown now, so I am not about to spend my money buying them no Christmas gifts in July. I spend my money on me for Christmas in July. But I do have one other friend that loves it as much as I do. So she and I sometimes will exchange gifts. And if I see something for the kids, I will still pick it up. But I have to watch my Christmas movies and I get all in the mood. I mean, it is a big ordeal. I get excited about it. So that's just one of those things. Glad to know that someone else on Toastmasters also celebrates Christmas in July. My next question is, being that June is pretty much the middle of the year, how are you coming with your New Year's resolution? How are you coming with your New Year's resolution? Go ahead, Miss Kaori.
My New Year's resolution. What are my New Year's resolution for this year, 2023? Let me just a second. Let me set the timer. I'm sorry.
Oh, I could have done your time. If you want me to do it right quick, or you already got it set.
Okay,
Let me
let's
know.
start over. Okay.
Okay, well, let me get to
My New Year's resolution for 2023. Do not blame anybody. Do not criticize anybody. Do not no blame, no criticize, no judge anybody. Those are my New Year's resolution. Do not get mad. And so far, I'm doing very well. A few days ago, I really dangerous driver cut off right in front of me, or sometimes really pass around me, really dangerous way. But I was calm. I didn't get mad. And another day, when I was parking in the back, when I was at the parking lot, right, and I tried to get out of the parking lot and back up, and then car right behind me, very fast. And that was scary. I think I should be careful, but also that driver also slowed down because it's just parking lot, cloudy parking lot, but he didn't. And it was a scary moment, but I was calm. And a few weeks ago, I was at the intersection, airport and Cody. That's a major intersection. And I had a green light. I had a green light. And the car one car tried to coming into me from airport. I was at the Cody. And then from the airport, he has the red light, clearly red light, but he tried to come into almost a collapsion moment. That was really, really dangerous moment, but I was not mad. I was calm. Wow. And so far, I'm doing very well. One great thing, if I don't get mad, easy to move on. If I react to the situation, if I do my angry, like a screaming or yelling or something, it takes a while to move on. Probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, almost whole day, 2 days, 1 week. But if I didn't get mad, just let it go. It's so easy to move on and then calm down and then do something more productive thing. I really like it. I'm doing so well so far. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Kaori. And that is a beautiful New Year's resolution. And I wish more people do it. That's just what the world needs now is just love. And you're right, not to be so judgmental and not to be negative, speak negative about people, and definitely be slow to anger. The good book tells us that we should all be slow to anger. And there's reasons for that too, because when you get mad, you make your responses are not always going to be the best, shall I say. Okay, I'm coming to the sad part. Let's see. Anybody else? Have we all? Marius, what time? It's 7:19. Should we move on? You got time for one more? And if so, I'll just ask myself this question because I think everyone has already answered. It's just the 5 of us, right? Yeah. Okay. So the question is for myself. So Carrie, I'll let you take my time, please. What else is significant about the month of June for me? And my answer is, what else is significant about the month of June? And the answer is June 25th, 2009, Michael Jackson passed. And I have been, first off, ever since he died, I no longer can enjoy the music of someone who is no longer with us. It makes me too sad. So rarely do I listen to his music anymore because I just can't stand to. And today, his rehearsals, getting ready for his last "This Is It" tour that he was going to do, was on television. And I said to myself, nope, don't you do that. And I kept on going and I couldn't stop. I couldn't resist. And I went back to watch the documentary. And I promise you, it just still does not seem real to me. I'm not big on celebrities. I think I'm a celebrity. You ain't big on me. I sure enough ain't big on you. But there's some kind of connection I've always had with Michael Jackson. So it's still hard to believe that he's been gone for over a whole decade, 14 years now. So that's sad for me. And that is my answer for what else significant happened in the month of June. Okay, I think this is it for our table topics portion, and I will relinquish the lectern back to our Toastmaster, Wes Hillstrom. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. At this point, I'd like to call on our timer to give the times for the topics responses.
General evaluator, I'll take over that.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's you're perfectly right. I'm just going by the. You're perfectly right. That's the general evaluator duty, and I'd like to, at this point, I'd like to call on Maurice, general evaluator, to call on members of his team.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Wes. And I know it was no pun intended, Olivia, at the end of your table topic session where you said this is it, but
Yeah,
I'm
it
culpable.
sure wasn't. Oh,
I'm culpable for that.
this is it. Oh my goodness. Oh, y'all, that's depressing to me. My stomach is over here hurting. I'm like, no, he's not going. Yeah, he's gone. Okay, sorry about that. Back to you, Maurice.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, I would like to call on my evaluation team, which is going to be the timer and then the all counter and grammarian. And at this time, I'll call on Carrie to do the times.
I am your timer tonight. Let's start Caleb's table topic speech, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. West, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And Maurice, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Hurricane got you excited, I believe. Olivia, 1 minute and 17 seconds. And Olivia, could you tell me my time? Olivia, I don't hear. Are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I started timing a little late, but you were about 1 minute and 18 or 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Thank you. Back to you, Maurice.
Thank you, Carrie. And at this time, we'll have the all counter and grammarians report with Wes.
Ma'am, Mr. General Evaluator, at this point, I must say, gosh, you guys are good. I got a very I listened, but I got very minimal not much to talk about. I gave an awe. I just gave a repeat. The word of the day was spoken that I heard one time by Maurice. And Caleb at the beginning and, but you folks are one group of polished Toastmasters. Your credit to Hilltoppers. And I'm proud to be of humble, minimal service to you all. That concludes my report as grammarian all counter.
Thank you, Wes. And the general evaluation of the meeting as a whole, we took 5-minute recess. We started around 6:50 p.m. And then we had no prepared speeches, so we went right into table topics. And we had some good table topic sessions, some long, including myself, but it was a good table topics. And then we went into the evaluations. And so far, and we're doing pretty good so far. And that is my general evaluation for tonight. And I will relinquish the lectern back to our Toastmaster for tonight, Wes.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I just have a few comments. Carrie, I think it's highly commendable what you're doing in practicing a New Year's resolution and being calm and being slow to anger and carrying on your New Year's resolution and not blaming and not finding fault. I try to practice that same sort of thing, but sometimes when I see the world today and the politics and the silly things that people are concerned with, it just makes me so infuriated. But I've got to say, no, wait a minute. You got to look at the big picture, Wes. The earth is the earth that we live on has been referred to as the insane asylum of the universe from a spiritual perspective. This whole earthly experience is a classroom. You can't get too caught up in it. You have to relax